All right, everyone. Of course, a couple days ago, Mike Pence got recalled from a planned visitation in New Hampshire, and people went wild, and everyone was going insane on 4chan and on YouTube and on Twitter. Oh my God, it's the end of the world because it happened to coincide with like a Russian subfire and weird shit like that. And so people are it's still a little bit mysterious. I don't think they've said why Pence was recalled from his planned visit yet. But this shows the importance of fact checking and maybe showing a little bit of restraint when you're talking about things. Because the initial report, even from the legacy media, which shows, their journalistic ethics, because I don't think half of them ever redacted their articles, was that he was in mid-flight and it got turned around and he came back, and then people started piling other things on. Like there was a rumor, which wasn't true, that the First Lady, Melania Trump, had been like shipped off to another location, and there were rumors that Trump had disappeared. Some people are saying maybe he had a health issue and Pence was going to take over and stupid shit like that. There were people saying, well, Putin was recalled to the Kremlin and there was a subfire, and then the EU Council got together, the UN, for an impromptu meeting, and just all sorts of bullshit that wasn't true. And it was an attempt to get people riled up, like to generate, something that's exciting, even though it's completely fake. What actually happened is that Pence never actually was in the air. He was recalled for a planned visit, but he hadn't gotten on his plane yet, so that part initially wasn't even true. Most of this other stuff never happened. Putin's meeting with regards to the sub was a separate event. Now, they may be linked. It is entirely possible that Pence was kept there specifically because something was going on with a nuclear sub, which could have turned into a major incident. Like if a nuclear sub the fire aboard killed a bunch of people. Let's say that it had sunk in dock or something and started releasing radioactivity. That would have been a significant nuclear danger. And it probably would have necessitated an immediate U.S. response, which means that, Trump is busy. Pence would have to be the one to do that. It's possible, but we're not even sure. It could have been literally anything under the sun. It could have been an unspecified security concern. It could have been any of a million things. But the thing is, if you listen to people that were talking about it live in some cases at the time, it was like basically, oh, Armageddon's here. Oh, the QAnon sabotaged the Russian nuclear sub in order to knock off Mike Pence so that Donald Trump could get the amulet to become God Emperor, and weird shit like that. And so I held off actually bothering to even cover it. I could have gotten a really juicy take and said basically what would have been the truth, which is, nobody knows what the fuck's going on, and just by virtue of having a video on the subject, maybe 100,000 people watch it. The problem is, I know, while I would have done that maybe 5 years ago, I no longer feel comfortable doing that because it's just too clickbaity. There are already enough people doing it anyway, so it's like you get kind of drowned out unless you're willing to make declarative statements that may or may not be even true. Then you can, sort of proceed with that. I don't know. It's like the danger of breaking news sort of stuff. It's funny because the legacy media normally, because of their monopoly on real-world journalism, if you go out and you try to record and document in real life, usually you get deplatformed by the whole internet because they don't want you to compete with their partners at CNN and Fox and so forth. So they typically are the ones breaking the news, and because of the structure of like the priority creators on YouTube, algorithmic demotion of independent voices on Twitter and so forth, it doesn't get as much traction anyway outside of an echo chamber, really, a political one usually, if it's about politics at all. So it's not even worth it. I would say that since there's obviously no journalistic credibility left in the legacy media, like newsprint, AM, FM radio, terrestrial radio, and even some satellite radio programs at this point, I suppose, certainly cable. Since there's no integrity left there, since they're not willing to report fairly, they're not willing to report accurately, they're not actually news, they're just opinion and analysis now. Insofar as there's opinion and analysis online, at the very least, we're held to a different account and should be. Because we're independent, we should hold ourselves to a greater account for accuracy. It's worth waiting the extra day or at least the extra 5 minutes to do a little bit of cursory fact-checking to make sure that what you're presenting is actually true. But if I had made a video at the time, even the initial report of Pence being turned around midair was completely wrong. He never even got aboard his plane. But if you looked at everything from AP and Reuters on through RT and Al Jazeera were saying that he was turned around mid-flight for an unspecified emergency, possibly related to a Russian subfire and the Kremlin, which none of that was actually the case. And I don't think any of them ever issued retractions. The stories are probably still there saying the same things. It's funny because sometimes they silently edit things. It's like with Fox the other day. Vox, I think, was reporting on Fox. Oh, they put out this article and then they silently edited the title, but haha, they never apologized or retracted. It's like, when's the last time CNN retracted a story and visibly and actually apologized for being wrong in their headline? When's the last time Vox did it, for that matter? It never really happens. Again, double standards. And just think, Fox is part of the legacy media too. They treat Fox badly, even though Fox is partnered with the same big corporate firms and multinationals that they are. Just imagine how vicious they are to independent content creators that actually have some degree of ethics like I do. Oh, they hate it. They hate the fact that, you can be restrained in your reporting. What they want, well, it would make their job easier. And this is a cautionary thing. What makes the job of CNN or Salon or Vox or BuzzFeed or MSNBC easier is when people like me put out stuff that's not true and don't do the fact-checking and don't have any ethics involved and are sort of clickbaiting people. It makes it easier to target because then they can say, oh, conspiracy theories, haha, you're wrong, therefore it must have been on purpose. Inaccuracy is always ascribed to malevolence by them in order to attack the independent community because, they're tired of competing with us, basically. That's about all. Peace out.